Welcome to the Prophecy Club. Our topic today is they are killing us. Now, I thought about this. I thought about, well, maybe I should put, are they killing us? But there's so much information out there now. I have to say they are killing us, and that is an intentional act. And of course, if you think about it, the Bible says that the devil comes not but for to steal, kill, and destroy. So that would make sense that they're trying to kill us, all right? This was sent to me in an email. By the way, thank you so much for your emails. In East Palestine, Ohio, and over the border into Pennsylvania, there are 72 organic farms, 30 meat processing plants, and many heirloom seed growers. Tells you all you need to know. Yeah, they are trying to kill us. Article, kill every buffalo you can. Every buffalo dead is an Indian gone. I remember my mom telling me about this. She said that the reason they killed the buffalo was to get rid of the Indians, to force them to go onto reservations. Now, I never really followed up on that, and I thought, well, today that kind of fits with the next article I'm about to bring to you. So I actually did some research, and actually that is correct. The American bison is the new U.S. national mammal, but its slaughter was once seen as a way to starve Native Americans into submission. Now, is that what they're trying to do? Or should I say, is that what they're doing when we've had over 150 various food processing, food manufacturing, chickens, turkeys, thousands, maybe by the millions killed all of the last, 14 months? Now, the next article is important. Oh, well, before I get to the next article, since I put this one in, I need to say, if you're needing food, go to josephkitchen.com. All right, now, that's all I'm going to say right now. Talk about it more at the end. But the article says, feral cows to be shot dead from helicopter in U.S. National Forest, a difficult decision. This article says that they're trying to get it approved to get in helicopters and to fly over our national forests and start shooting and killing wild cows. I didn't know there were any wild cows, but isn't that kind of the same thing they're doing by trying to get rid of our food supplies to force us to do what they want us to do? Isn't that what we did to the Indians by killing off the buffalo? A helicopter with a shooter will fly over a portion of the vast Gila Wilderness in southwestern New Mexico next week, searching for feral cows to kill. The Gila National Forest issued the decision amid pressure from environmental groups who raised concerns about nearly 150 cattle whose hooves and mouths are damaging streams and rivers. See, the same thing could have been said about the bison, the buffaloes. Well, we got to get rid of these buffaloes because they're it's so ridiculous. They're damaging the streams and they're eating things. Well, never mind, that was the food source for the Indians. Never mind, cattle is the primary food source, at least the meat food source for Americans. So they're sort of doing the same thing again, aren't they? Ranchers, meanwhile, have criticized the plan to shoot cows from a helicopter as animal cruelty. They say the action violates federal regulations. Well, what about just saying no? Because if society breaks down, and if we do have to run into the forests, into the woods, it would be nice to find something there to eat. The article says what's going on. Massive fires break out at 3 Mexico state-owned, this is Mexico, down in Mexico, old Mexico, okay. 3 Mexico state-owned oil facilities, including one in Texas within 24 hours. Isn't this the same thing that they're doing by killing the cows? They're trying to get rid of our oil. They're trying to get rid of our eggs and our chickens and our turkeys. It's an attempt to kill us off and or to force us to do what they want us to do. And what would that be? Go into a new world order. I've got more. It's startling. In just one day, massive fires broke out at 3 different facilities in Mexico and one in the United States that are controlled by the state-owned Mexican oil company Pemex. Trains carrying hazardous materials continue to derail around the country. Is the U.S. under attack? I'm going to say, yes, we are. Another train carrying hazardous materials has jumped the tracks in Michigan. The train is operated by Norfolk Southern. the same rail line that operated the train that derailed outside East Palestine, Ohio earlier this month. There is no evidence, however, of exposed hazardous materials, as no train cars containing hazardous materials were compromised. Maybe that was just a mistake. Maybe they had the wrong train derail. Toxic wastewater from Ohio. By the way, thank you for your emails. This comes to me mostly from what you sent me. Toxic wastewater from Ohio. Train derailment moved to Texas. You know, how stupid. How stupid can we be if we're trying to see our nation prosper and do well? Or this fits exactly with a plan if we're trying to kill off a bunch of people. So what this article is going to tell you, they're planning on pumping up, barreling a bunch of this water from the derailment up in Ohio and shipping it down to Texas. Is that a good idea? Toxic wastewater used to extinguish a fire following a train derailment in Ohio has been transported to the Houston suburb for disposal, according to county officials in Texas who said there are outstanding questions about the transportation. You think so? 500,000 gallons of the wastewater has been delivered to Deer Park, Texas. Well, Deer Park, it might be D-E-A-R, Deer Park. You're in trouble for too long. Fire causes chemicals spill in Massacuna Creek, Hernando. MS Mayor says water pH levels are now normal. Another one. A fire at Pipe, Steel, and Iron Company in Hernando, Mississippi caused a slight scare after chemical acid spilled into a nearby creek. You remember, Prophet Leslie had a prophecy back in 2007, I think it was, and she said that they're going to start poisoning our water supply, openly putting poison into our water supply, and the prophecy specifically said, get yourself a good water filter, which, of course, for that, we'll send you to prophecyclub.com, which, by the way, I should have asked the office. I know we have placed another order because we've been deluged with orders for Berkeys, but we have a big supply of them. But if we don't have it, we'll be getting it in a few days. So if you place your order there at prophecyclub.com for your Berkey water filter, it should come quickly. Anyway, Saturday evening, but crews have been working since then to monitor any water contamination. The mayor said water and soil samples are testing at normal levels. Yeah, well, that's the same thing they say in Ohio, too. Don't believe it. Matter of fact, I tried to find the article, and it said that somebody sent it to me last week. Maybe you need to send it to me again. But the article somebody had done research into all of the different bottled water companies and where they are bottling the water and where they actually get the water from. And I tried to find it, couldn't find it. But surprisingly, many of them are just bottling tap water. It's not from some wonderful natural artesian well coming from a lot of it just tap water. And that fits with the prophecy because the prophecy specifically said a lot of people would be turning to drinking bottled water, but even bottled water would not be safe. You must have a good water filter to filter your water. Again, Berkey is what I use. Matter of fact, all of my water right here, all went through a Berkey, everything. Giant Eagle removes bottled water produced by company using spring in same county as East Palestine train derailment. Giant Eagle has removed a gallon-sized bottle from water produced at for the chain by a company using a spring near the site from the East Palestine trail derailment. Now, they always say the water comes from a spring, but this article that I was not able to find said that's not true. I didn't get the exact percentage, but I was shocked to find that any of the bottled water actually came from a local city tap. Now, perhaps it was before it went through the pipes where it didn't pick up that pipe taste, but if it's not coming from a spring, I don't think they should be able to say it's coming from a spring. If they say it's coming from France, it needs to be really coming from France. Not say it comes from France and just pull it out of the local tap for you. The Ohio facility is located about 25 miles east from Palestine, where Norfolk Southern train hauling hazardous materials derailed and caught fire February 3rd. Creekside Springs spring water comes straight out of our proprietary protected natural springs located on the lands adjacent to our Ohio facility, the company's website explains. Bacteria testing among issues at a Miami bottled water plant that distributes Evian. Okay, now, we're all familiar with Evian, and I should have done my research on this, but it seems like, isn't Evian one of those that says it's water from France? Maybe it's a French company. The Miami bottled water plant that bottles 2 brands and distributes 3 others, including Evian, had labels that lied about ingredients and bottling machines so unsanitary, a state inspector ordered it out of service. Well, that fits with the prophecy, which said you're not going to be able to trust the bottled water. So again, get your Berkey water filter. Though the company does business as Mountain Valley Spring Water is the most prominent brand on their website, and Evian and Diamond Spring Water are listed among other products on this website. Florida Water Delivery Director says that the company actually bottles water only Summerhouse Springs and Crystal Hills at the facility. And it goes on to say there are no records for maintenance of equipment, cleaning of filters, inspections of equipment. Now, I'm not saying everything in a bottle, your bottled water is all bad. But I'm saying that if you run it through your Berkey water filter, you have a higher probability because you really know what you got, you see?
So here's the big dogs. Since 2006, the snow on Mount Shasta has 5 times more aluminum, 61,000 micrograms per liter, than the soil underneath it. Pure white snow has more aluminum in it than mud. Can you beat that? The snow water is unsafe to drink on Mount Shasta. How can white snow have more aluminum than mud? Now, the aluminum content of rain should be 0, with a pH of 5.5. When jets are not spraying, maybe so. When the jets are spraying, we get up to 13,100 micrograms per liter and pH up to 100 times normal. It goes really alkaline. This is over 13 times the federal safety limits for drinking water. Don't drink the water.
We measured the snow, and the snow was 61,000 parts per billion, that's micrograms per liter, of aluminum. Now, that makes your hair stand on end when it's that much.
Put that into context for us, that how high above what we should expect is that, and we know that we should probably be less than 1 ppb. We're 61,000. Put that into context, if you would.
Okay, normal is 0, and you're getting 61,000. Normal would be 0.
Mexico and U.S. reach a January agreement on GMO corn imports as ERS highlights importance of Mexico's corn market. I learned something on this article. I figured that there would be Mexico buying a lot of the American corn. What I didn't know is that Mexico is complaining because they no longer want to buy all of the GMO corn grown in America. Mexico has a controversial presidential decree that is set to ban GM corn, genetically modified corn, and the herbicide glyphosate in 2024. Mexico is the largest destination for U.S. corn exports, accounting for 27%. Mexico relies heavily on imported corn from the United States, which of it is mostly yellow. More than 90% of the corn is genetically modified. In other words, our farmers might start getting in trouble. Mexico is starting to turn its back on America, and there's more. Are they trying to kill us? Well, that's the point of this whole program today. Yes, they are. Are they trying to kill us? Lab-grown meat backed by Bill Gates has cancer cells and could cause other scary health issues. Lab-grown meat strongly supported by Bill Gates has cancer cells. He says you are devouring glorified cancer tumors when consuming fake meat. Goes on to say that this lab-grown meat companies produce cultured meat. They realize what they're called are immortalized cells. There was another article, I had that one too. I got so many articles, I should have pulled that one up. But this other article says that these immortalized cells in this fake meat, this, how do I say, lab-grown meat, don't, how do I say this? Well, this next article explained it, the next sentence here. Normal meat cells don't just keep dividing forever, okay? Normal ones. However, more immortalized cells, or the lab-grown meat, they just keep growing and growing and dividing forever, which is why they want you to start eating lab-grown meat, because it's a perpetual profit for them. Now, never mind it's not good, and never mind, according to this, it says it can highly cause cancer. Oil spill at Northeast gas station calls on hazmat team for cleanup. This happened around 9 a.m. Crews said the truck having a mechanical issue. They were busy with the hazmat mode, trying to keep the leaking oil from going down the storm drains by putting down absorbent pads. It didn't say that they stopped the oil. They were trying to stop the oil because the storm drain is eventually going to empty into a creek, and you don't want it into your water supply. So the point here again is apparently our tap water and our bottled water are not near as good as we had led to believe. I was joking with one of my racquetball buddies the other night, and I said, I can remember when I was a kid, me and this other guy were joking. He said, one day they're going to start selling water. Well, boy, it's a major industry today. And if they are only taking water coming out of the tap and putting it into a bottle, putting it on the truck and selling it to us, what a scam. What a scam, huh? And then especially if it's not clean. Firefighters continue to assess damage after a large fire at Bozrah Egg Farm. Now, this was a huge fire. Man, we talked about this, 150 different turkey places, chickens, egg growing places, fertilizer plants, all kinds of. Our food has been under attack for the last 14 months. More than 100 firefighters worked to put out a large fire at an egg farm in Bozrah. Firefighters said the fire was in a 50 by 600 foot operating chicken coop, and crews from 16 surrounding departments were called to put it out. Now, would you like to guess? Do you think they found what caused the fire? If it was arson, do you think they have someone in arrest? I haven't investigated the 150 different places where all of these food places have been damaged. But my guess is no one has been arrested. I think it is high technology. It might be directed energy weapons, but my guess is probably scalar wave. Biden administration negotiates deal to give the WHO, the World Health Organization, authority over U.S. pandemic policies. Now, the government has long been trying to figure out a way to be able to give our sovereignty away to some world government. Now, I kind of always thought that the way this world government would come along, like Revelation 13 and Daniel 7:21, I believe it is, both says coming, would be something like they take the UN and everybody votes to join the UN. But it might not come that way. And I saw it with this article. It might actually come by something exactly like this, where the nations give the World Health Organization authority over all of their other laws to simply say, if there's another pandemic, World Health Organization, you're in control. And boom, all of a sudden, we're in a world government. That's what the article's about to say. The Biden administration is preparing to sign up the United States to a legally binding accord. And by the way, the Senate would not have to approve this. A legally binding accord with the World Health Organization that would give the Geneva-based, Geneva, it's in Switzerland, as in this is where the Nazis that we fought and beat back in World War II are from. Geneva-based United Nations Health Agency, the authority to dictate America's policies during a pandemic. It could be just that simple. It could be that all of the nations of the world agree to give the World Health Organization control in a pandemic, and then guess what? They release a virus, we're in a pandemic, and boom, just that quick, we're in a world government. Despite widespread criticism of the World Health Organization's response to the pandemic, U.S. Health and Human Services, I'll skip that, I'll skip on down, to protect and promote the health of all the people around the globe, including the American people. Boom. So, we all sign an agreement saying that the World Health Organization, in a pandemic, has authority over us, and then they release a virus, there's another pandemic, and boom, we're in a world government. In the face of extraordinary challenges, 36 pioneer cities chart a course towards a more ethical and responsible future. See, what they're trying to do is bring in a new and a better world order. And that's what they're going to say. They're going to say it's a better world order. This is part of them bringing in that new world order. And the Alliance was recruited a group of 36, quote, pioneer cities that will collaborate with global experts, or you might say, which will bend the knee and bow down to and do as they're told. These are the 36 pioneer cities. 2 of them, by the way, are in the United States. With global experts to enhance their city policies, a new and a better world order, you see, in areas ranging from privacy protection and cybersecurity to better services for disabled people and better broadband coverage. The pioneer cities are launching their activities today at a global event broadcast by Smart City Expo World Congress, the world's premier smart cities event. And they give a list of those cities, but I didn't want to take the time to put all of those cities down. However, there's 2 of them in America. Chattanooga and San Jose are these pioneer cities.
According to the World Economic Forum website, as of May 2023, 36 countries worldwide will have smart city governance initiatives, surveillance monitoring, analysis, reporting technology. You'll have a digital ID that will track in real time your shopping, your entertainment, your activities, and your carbon footprint. You'll also have a 15-minute travel limit without a permit. A permit to travel. And if you exceed any of these things, you'll be denied access to daily activities. Obviously, no one would move into one of these cities voluntarily, but they don't have to, because the laws governing Agenda 2030 land development allows the government to seize polluted land and move their residents to these smart cities. If you're living somewhere where your land and water is poisoned, you don't get an option to opt out. Where has land and water been poisoned recently?
China calls for end to World War III after this is a directed energy weapon attack on a Western country. Now, this is from Benjamin Fulford, and he does not tell what Western country, but he does say these same criminals spill chemicals, seize contaminated farms, that's the important part, seize contaminated farms, freeze the assets, place the assets in Switzerland, and borrow money on them to keep their U.S. empire afloat. Did you catch that? We talked about this in yesterday's program, that there is a UN law already in place that they can seize contaminated land and force the people to move to these new pioneer cities. Now we know why environmental scientists heading to Ohio were killed in a plane crash. Well, no, Benjamin, I don't know. You should have told us. Everyone on the plane, including the pilot, worked at the Center for Toxicology and Environmental Health, and we were en route to a fatal explosion that occurred earlier this week at the Bedford, Ohio metal manufacturing plant. Well, there's a little bit left to understand there, but the point is, as they contaminate areas, they can then take that land and physically move the people to a smart city. Bank of Mexico should discuss decoupling from U.S. Fed. We're going to be reviewing the data, and we have the decision coming soon, and these are the elements we're going to incorporate. In other words, Mexico is talking about dropping the dollar, as well as many other nations. I think there's 28 different nations that are in progress of dropping the dollar, just like Shane Warren told us. For that, I would recommend you go to cornerstoneassetmetals.com. Cornerstoneassetmetals.com. You don't have to get anything today. Call them and just open an account. Start asking questions. Well, this is what I've got. This is where I am. And they can give you some good advice. And if you're looking to get some gold and silver, they can help you get some gold and silver. Leslie Johnson had a prophecy back in 2011. She says, the Lord says there's going to be something put into the water supply in many cities of the nation. People will begin to get sick. Some will die. Get a good, reliable water filter. You will not be able to trust the tap water or the bottled water. You must get something to filter the water you are going to need. That's back in 2011. So if you want it, we suggest you go to prophecyclub.com. You click right here where it says Berkeys. This is what it looks like. Currently, all Berkeys are in stock. The one I have is this guy right here. It's the Crown. It has 8 filters. I recommend you get as much as you can afford, and also recommend you get some extra filters. That's at prophecyclub.com. It took me about 20 minutes to make these 2 loaves in my kitchen at an ingredient cost of about $12 each. In a time of food shortage and emergency, I'm going to cut each one of these loaves into 14 slices. Eat a slice in the morning and the afternoon, I'll be satisfied. You want long-term food storage? You want to cut your food costs? Here it is. Eat 2 whole wheat bread slices daily for about a year for about $800 each. JosephKitchen.com's wheat berries come in a nitrogen-infused 7-gallon pail for long-term storage. Most other emergency food costs about $10,000 per person per year. That's right, about $10,000 per person per year, but at Joseph Kitchen, you could do it for about $1,000 per person per year. Now, to get started at josephkitchen.com, you're going to need a machines package. That's going to give you the grinder, the bread machine, the knife slicer, all you need to make bread, and then you decide how much food you want to get. You want food 6 people 1 year, 4 people 1 year, 2 people 1 year, or just 1 person for a year, all at josephkitchen.com. About $1,000 per person per year at josephskitchen.com. Use the promo code Prophecy Club. Get you a $50 discount. josephskitchen.com, promo code Prophecy Club for a $50 discount on your first order. So, Terry Saka of CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. Why should someone call you today?
Well, the dollar used to be the world dominant reserve currency known as unipolar. It no longer is. It is now a multipolar world where Russia and China and others known as the BRICS are forming commodity-backed currencies to challenge the dollar. The dollar's day is coming. The dollar is going to crash. When it does, owning gold and silver during that period will transfer wealth not away from you, but to you. And being prepared is vital at this moment.
Terry Saka, CornerstoneAssetMetals.com. Give him a call. Go online today. Next is, I'll send you to EMPShield.com. If you use the promo word prophecy, you get a $50 discount. What is that? Well, it looks like this. This is the one that goes into a car, okay? And you put the red wire to the red side of the battery. You put the black wire to the black side of the battery, and the green one attaches to the body of the car. Then you peel it off right back here. Just peel that off, stick it inside of the engine compartment of your car. And the whole point is when the electricity goes off or when some kind of a suitcase nuclear device goes off, this is supposed to be able to stop that device from destroying every computer chip in your car. Because if every computer chip is destroyed in your car these days, you couldn't possibly replace them all. Throw the car away. So, EMPShield.com, promo code prophecy.